I'm Dr. Ali Mattu. Why is free speech so hard to hear? Let's find out on The Psych Show. Last week, terrorists attacked the French satirical magazine Charlie Hebdo, killing 12 people. Regardless of what you think about the magazine, they drew cartoons and then terrorists killed people. Those things aren't equal. Something that's come out of this tragedy is a discussion of what exactly freedom of speech is. U.S. Supreme Court Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes described it as the principle of free thought. Not free thought for those who agree with us, but freedom for the thought we hate. That definition resonates with me. Legal protection for ideas that clash with your beliefs. This is often painful. Free speech protected a group of neo-Nazis who wanted to march through a neighborhood of Holocaust survivors. It gave permission for extremists to picket the funerals of US soldiers, and it allows for the public burning of Qurans. But without free speech, the government will get to decide what you and I can and can't say. That's a terrible idea! Limits to free speech only benefit those who are in power. To paraphrase a founder of the ACLU, in order to defend the ideas you like, you have to defend the ideas you hate. So in order to live in a free society, you have to deal with ideas that are going to upset you. But what happens to your brain when this occurs? To answer this question, I'm going to tell you my all-time favorite story from psychology. Back in the 1950s, there was a cult called the Seekers. The Seekers were led by a woman named Marian Keech. Now, she claimed that aliens were speaking to her, and aliens had told her that on December 21st, 1954, planet Earth would be destroyed. However, anyone who was a part of her group, anyone who was a seeker, would be saved. A lot of people say goodbye to their families, leave their jobs, and join Marian Keech. Dr. Leon Fessinger, a psychologist, heard of the story, became interested in it, and as one does, infiltrated the cult. He was there on September 21st, that day the Earth was supposed to be destroyed. What happened? Absolutely nothing. Midnight came and went. No one was beamed up by aliens, and planet Earth remains here to this day. What happened to the Seekers? Did they say, "Oh my gosh, you're a charlatan, Marian Keech, you have led us astray"? No, nothing like that. They began to believe that God was so impressed with their devotion and prayers that he intervened and saved Earth. The moral of the story? Your brain attacks information that conflicts with your beliefs, just like the immune system fights off viruses. Through a series of experiments, Dr. Leon Fessinger went on to develop cognitive dissonance theory. Basically, we're always trying to be consistent with the things we believe and the things we do. When something challenges our beliefs, like free speech often does, we find a way to make that threatening information less of a threat. Why does this happen? We're not Vulcans. Our psychology isn't based on logic, it's based on emotions. And the same emotions that make you run away from real dangers, those are the emotions that make you run away from dangerous ideas. By the time you hear ideas that conflict with your point of view, your mind has already started fighting them off. The opposite thing happens when you're around people who share your point of view. The more you hear stuff you believe, the more extreme your point of view can become. Psychologists call this group polarization. That's why Republicans and Democrats can't seem to agree on anything anymore. It's also how terrorism can incubate in remote parts of the world. A lot of group polarization happens on the internet. We follow people who share our perspectives, unfollow those who don't, and customize our news feed to fit our own biases. So if freedom of speech is designed to protect different ideas, but our brains are wired to challenge those ideas, then is there any hope of having a real, honest dialogue about the big issues impacting the world? Yes, absolutely. We can challenge group polarization by spending time with people who have different perspectives than our own. The more time we spend, the less defensive our brain will be. Once you know where the other person is coming from, then you'll be able to share your perspective in a way that resonates with their worldview. This turns out to be the key to real, meaningful dialogue. Researchers have found that if you introduce the idea of climate change in the context of reducing pollution, then Republicans shut down. But if you frame it in the context of creating nuclear power plants, Republicans open up to discussion. All of those issues that keep coming up, from gun control to healthcare, national security, and climate change, we're never going to make any progress on them until we're able to sit down, understand each other, and share information in a way that makes sense given each other's perspectives. That's why my favorite response to the Charlie Hebdo tragedy is this cartoon from Arab cartoonist Imad Hajjaj, titled "Pen is Stronger Than Bullets." What would help to create a more open dialogue in your community? Let me know in the comments below. Click on the Bill of Rights to get more psychology.